Um, Welcome to my closet. Okay, so coffee originated from Ethiopia, where it was then spread by nomadic tribes all the way to Yemen, where cultivation began. Now, what part did coffee have in the Columbian Exchange? Well, first off, it wasn't initially part of it until it reached Europe during the early 16th century, and it only really became super popular during the 1700s. Now, that's not to say that some countries didn't love it. The Dutch, well, they took the bean all the way to Sri Lanka in 1658, where they began growing it there. Oh, and one thing real quick. Coffee loves to be grown in humid and warm climates, so that's part of why the Dutch took it all the way to Asia. Anyways, the Dutch took it up to India during the late 16th century. They also brought it during the same time all the way to Java,
now known as Jakarta.
which was an island of Indonesia where it was to be grown even more. Now, the Dutch weren't the only ones that farmed coffee. The Persians, at the same time as the Dutch, took the great brown bean all the way to the Americas, where they decided to set up plantations in Brazil. Now, both countries, as you can imagine, needed workers, and well, there's just so many natives around, and they just seem like such hard workers. Oh, and so do Africans. Yeah, the coffee craze made slaves a bigger thing. Brazil, being full of natives and just such a good place to grow coffee, made it the biggest plantation in the world, growing like 30% of the world's coffee at that time.
Brazil is still producing a third of the world's coffee.
The coffee bean was a pretty lucrative market too, as it was still in its infancy in terms of being grown and sold, so this made it a luxury item and a cash crop. The thing with coffee though is that it kinda isn't that good for the environment because it erodes the soil and pollutes the water with its caffeine. Now, the complete rise of coffee was pretty much a great thing for the world as a whole because of its effect on people. I got tired of my closet and I'm under my bed now. Anyways, part of the reason that coffee became so popular in Europe was because beer, which kept it in the Dark Ages, was a depressant. It also provided the drinker with a lot of calories for work. Then came in coffee and replaced it, basically awakening the continent. This led to a culture growing with the rise of coffee. Places like coffee houses,
Which were just coffee shops.
spread the influence of coffee, which produced a new wave of enlightened thinkers. Yeah, that's it.